What's up, everyone? Welcome back. We're going to be talking about the Green Bay Packers here, a team that had a very up and down season, slow start, got hot towards the end, got really close to the big game in the end, but just not the depth and too many injuries on defense. Um, but this is a team that has a lot of reasons to be hopeful for next season. Aaron Rodgers playing at the top of his game. I have the Packers second in the power rankings. This is a team that is right there with NFC favorites again next year. They just have a few moves to make and potentially some reasons that I'll talk about why they might do some things they haven't in the past. So we'll talk about the quarterback, obviously Aaron Rodgers, uh, in my opinion, the best player in the NFL. A lot of people around the league in agreement with that. Just the do-it-all quarterback. You guys have all seen him play. Don't need to talk about the type of player he is. I will mention the 98 overall. There's 3 players now in this roster that will be 98s. I have no 99s and then a cluster of 97s. The other 98s, Julio Jones and J.J. Watt. And in case you're wondering, I'll spoil this, Tom Brady 97, right behind Aaron Rodgers. Um, probably a better thrower or, at least more accurate. But Aaron, the more physical tools and the mobility, so his overall is higher. Um, so yeah, on to Brett Hundley. Intriguing prospect, was one of the top college players about his sophomore year. So he could potentially be in a Jimmy Garoppolo situation in the future. On to the running backs. Ty Montgomery, 81. It might seem a little high, but what it all came down to was his receiving traits are so good that paired with his ability as a running back that he really showed, he's pretty good. It just came out to an 81 because he is so well rounded. And then Eddie Lacy goes down a little bit. Doesn't really seem to have the motivation, especially, this year he did get hurt, but the contract year, he'll be a free agent. So we'll see if he'll be back. I would expect the Packers to bring Lacy back and then probably draft a guy in maybe the second or third round to have an open competition there at running back. On to the receivers. Par for the course, most of these guys going down, just the way my roster works. But Jordy Nelson definitely didn't have the same explosiveness that he had before the ACL injury. So he goes down from, I think it was a 91, which was a little high. Devontae Adams, his agility and his release are top notch. So you'll notice those going up. And then Randall Cobb goes down, just a solid number 3. A fierce competitor, but doesn't have the full route tree. Didn't really emerge 2 seasons ago when Jordy Nelson went down. And some interesting depth as well at receiver. Jared Cook, he goes down just a little bit. I think a slight overreaction to his postseason performance. Definitely a solid tight end, but he was like an 85 or an 86, so he comes down just a little bit. His offensive line is stout, especially in pass protection. You got 2 guys, J.C. Treader and T.J. Lang, are free agents, so we'll see if they get brought back. I think I'd expect Lang to be back, and Treader will probably be gone, considering Corey Lindsey did a great job at center. And then Brian Bulaga also had his best season at right tackle. And then we get onto the defensive side of the ball. This is where this team really struggled. Lack of depth, and it really came down to too many undrafted rookies had to play when there were injuries. And, I mentioned some changes that need to be made for this team. I think this team needs to seek out free agents. They have a lot of spending room this offseason after we'll see they release Sam Shields. I think they have about $44 million to spend, which is in the top half. So if they can spend on this defense and really hit, look out, because they have the pieces to have a good defense, as we saw a couple years ago. But yeah, Kenny Clark kind of disappointed, the first round pick. And then Mike Daniels goes up. Really a foundational player for this defense. His strength goes way up to put him among the strongest players in the game, because he is really key to dominating that line of the scrimmage. And then Latroy Guion, a pretty solid nose tackle. The run defense was pretty good for this team. It was the pass defense that struggled. As we get to the linebackers here, Julius Peppers a free agent. We don't really know if he'll be back or not. We don't know if he'll be playing next year or not. Nick Perry goes down. He's an okay player. He had pretty high sack numbers, but he seems to be a guy that relies on his athleticism, doesn't have a ton of skill pass rush moves. And then the inside linebacker is a serious issue for this team. They've kind of been stubborn and to a fault to not address the middle linebacker. Could be a spending point for free agency or a draft focus. That said, Ted Thompson has year after year decided it's not an important position for this team. And then Clay Matthews goes up, but the injuries definitely stacking for Clay Matthews. He's had multiple years now where he has not been able to play the full season, and even when he does play, he's playing hurt. So it makes you wonder at 31 years old how much he's got left in the tank. But a great player, really a do-it-all linebacker. They'll move him around from inside to out. And then the corners, this is really was the problem for this defense. Too many injuries and not enough depth. I would expect free agency to be spent here. Demarius Randall and Quentin Rollins, early picks from a few years ago, and then the rest of these guys essentially undrafted rookies or second-year players. And the safeties are great. Clinton Dix, a Pro Bowl season, really patrolling the secondary. And then Morgan Burnett playing more of that nickel linebacker safety hybrid and did a really good job. And you could really tell how much this defense missed him in the Atlanta game as he was injured. And even the second half of that Cowboys game that he missed was when the Cowboys went on their roll. So that's going to do it for the Packers. If they can spend money and spend it in the right places, I would expect this team to be right back where they were last year. Aaron Rodgers is going to be right in his prime. So, yeah, that's it for the Packers. We got the Panthers and the Patriots coming up next. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you for the next one.